Imagine looking at your timesheet at the end of the week, right? And you realize you just spent 10 hours trying to configure some supposedly magical new AI tool, all just to save yourself maybe 45 minutes of actual work.
Oh yeah, it's a trap so many people fall into.
Right. You signed up, you fed it some prompts, it spat out a slightly, robotic sounding email, and now you're right back to doing things the hard way because it's just faster.
Exactly.
If you're feeling a knot of recognition in your stomach right now, you are experiencing the defining modern workplace epidemic, which is AI experiment fatigue. I mean, everyone is telling you to automate, but the reality is you're likely just exhausting yourself testing tools that don't actually move the needle.
It is, it's a massive point of friction right now.
Yeah.
We are living through a very specific window where the accessibility of artificial intelligence has completely outpaced our strategic understanding of how to actually deploy it.
So true.
What we see across the board are professionals throwing, really complex technology at their simplest daily routines just to see what sticks, rather than targeting the actual structural bottlenecks that drain their time and their project margins.
And that is exactly the cycle we are breaking for you today. Our insights for this deep dive come from a highly specific operational framework. It's titled Lesson A7, the 80-20 of AI in construction. We are taking this directly to your desk.
That's the goal.
Our mission today is to cut through the noise, skip the novelty apps, and basically map out the exact 20% of AI applications that consistently deliver 80% of the return on investment in the construction industry.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if we want to stop wasting time, we first have to understand why we're targeting the wrong tasks to begin with, which brings us straight to the Pareto principle.
Right, the 80-20 rule. In the context of AI adoption, I mean, the Pareto principle is just ruthless.
It dictates that the vast majority of use cases you see advertised are functionally useless for your bottom line. We constantly see companies spreading their resources incredibly thin.
Just buying licenses for everyone.
Exactly. They buy licenses for every department, trying to automate everything from daily scheduling tweaks to casual internal communication. But the reality of the technology is that some applications are genuinely transformative, while others are just an illusion of productivity.
Let's break down that illusion. Think about what people usually try to automate first, right? The easy stuff, like using AI to write a standard update email to a client. Now, drafting a routine email is already a high-speed task for a competent professional. You know what you want to say.
You've written that same email 100 times.
Exactly. So having an AI generate it and then spending time tweaking its weird vocabulary so it sounds like you, that saves you maybe 30 seconds. It might even cost you time. That is a strictly low-value task. Then you have the middle tier.
Right, things like generating generic weekly summary reports.
Yeah, and it's helpful to have a template filled out, sure, but it's not altering the trajectory of a project.
No, it's not. And what's fascinating here is the psychology behind why companies get stuck in that low-value tier. It's safe. I mean, it's easy to understand. But the data reveals that the companies seeing massive structural gains from AI aren't the ones using 50 different micro tools to save 30 seconds here and there.
They're going deep.
Yes. They prioritize depth over breadth. They focus intensely on executing one or two incredibly complex, high-risk tasks. Focused depth beats breadth every single time.
That distinction, depth over breadth, it makes me think about how we're currently equipping our teams. Right now, the industry treats AI like a Swiss Army knife.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
We hand it to a project manager and expect them to use the little scissors to cut a string, the corkscrew to open a bottle, just, poking at 100 minor daily annoyances. But a complex construction project doesn't need a pocket knife. It needs a scalpel. You need to put the multi-tool away and use a highly specialized blade to perform deep operational surgery on the parts of the job that actually carry massive financial risk.
That is precisely the shift in mindset that has to happen. You do not perform major surgery with a pocket knife. And in the world of construction and heavy engineering, that major surgery always revolves around risk, compliance, and the overwhelming volume of project data.
So if the goal is major surgery, what is the single biggest operational bottleneck that a scalpel can fix? Where is the real friction? Because it's clearly not writing emails.
The absolute core of the friction is reading. Specifically, document analysis. The data points to this as the undisputed highest value AI use case, bar none. I mean, construction is an industry built on some of the heaviest, most impenetrable documents imaginable. Massive prime contracts, tender packages, thousands of pages of technical specifications, and just endless archives of daily site reports.
Oh man, just hearing the words thousands of pages of technical specifications is exhausting. It is the kind of work that drains the life out of an engineering team.
And that exhaustion is exactly the vulnerability. Humans process dense text slowly, but more critically. We extract information from it inconsistently.
Because we get tired.
Right. If you are reviewing a massive contract, you might catch a subtle but critical indemnity clause on page 12 when you've just had your morning coffee. But by the time you reach the annexures on page 250, it's late afternoon, your brain is fatigued, and you are just skimming.
Guilty as charged.
We all do it. But artificial intelligence doesn't read like we do. It maps the text simultaneously. It extracts specific parameters with absolute mathematical consistency, and it never suffers from cognitive fatigue.
The examples outlined in the research really illustrate the sheer scale of this capability, because imagine a team receiving a 200-page request for tender, right, an RFT. Normally, pulling apart the commercial risks in that document takes days of meticulous highlighting.
Days of work, easily.
But using targeted AI document analysis, teams are extracting every single pricing impacting requirement from that 200-page document in exactly 2 minutes.
Unbelievable.
2 minutes. Or take the risk profiling of subcontracts. Teams are running massive subcontract files through an AI to instantly map and flag any deviations from the AS4000, which, for context, is the standard Australian construction contract condition set. The AI finds the altered clauses instantly.
It fundamentally changes how you approach historical project data, too. Consider dispute resolution. The research details how AI can ingest 6 entire months of disjointed, messy daily site reports.
6 months of reports.
6 months. Instead of a junior engineer spending 3 weeks trying to piece together a narrative from scattered PDFs, the AI scans the entire timeline in minutes, identifying any subtle, variation-worthy events to reconstruct an accurate timeline of delays.
Okay, I follow the logic when it comes to text. If it's a PDF of a contract, the AI is essentially using natural language processing to find keywords and clauses. But the research also mentions using AI to cross-reference text-based specification sections against technical drawings to find design conflicts. I have to push back there.
Okay, go ahead.
Drawings are visual, they are geometric. How can you possibly trust an AI to cross-reference a highly visual, complex engineering drawing against a dense written document without it completely missing the spatial reality of the site?
It's a very natural skepticism.
Yeah.
And it stems from how we anthropomorphize AI. We assume the AI is, looking at the architectural drawing the way a human engineer visualizes a 3D space.
Well, yeah. Isn't it?
It isn't. An engineering drawing file, like a CAD export or a detailed PDF, is actually a massive database of structured information masquerading as an image. What the AI is doing is extracting the metadata, the embedded text callouts, the dimensions, and the structured schedules or tables hidden within that file.
Oh, wow. So it's reading the code behind the image, essentially.
Exactly. It extracts those hidden data points from the visual file and then maps them directly against the constraints listed in the massive text specification. This raises an important question about human cognitive limits versus machine endurance.
Because keeping all that in your head is impossible.
Right. Think about the mental gymnastics a human have to do to find a conflict between a complex door schedule on an architectural drawing and the specific hardware requirements in a 500-page manual. The human has to hold 2 incredibly complex, disparate pieces of information in their working memory at the same time to compare them. Humans have a very strict working memory limit.
And the AI doesn't.
The AI does not. It can map 1,000 data points from the drawing against 1,000 constraints in the manual instantly. However, and this is the vital mechanism of high ROI AI, the machine does not make the final engineering judgment. It simply flags the discrepancy for the human expert to evaluate.
So the AI acts as an exhaustive search engine that surfaces the exact needle in the haystack and then asks the human, is this needle a problem?
Precisely.
That makes perfect sense. But let's follow the life cycle of that workflow. The AI has just read 200 pages. It found the pricing risks. It found the drawing conflicts. It flagged the variations. Finding the problem is only half the battle. You still have to act on it. You have to communicate that risk formally, which usually means someone is stuck drafting a highly technical legal response.
Which is exactly why the workflow cannot stop at analysis. We have to move from the analytical heavy lifting into execution. The second high-value category identified in the framework is drafting and formatting at speed.
Ah, okay.
Once the AI understands the context, it is deployed to dramatically accelerate the production of the professional output.
We are talking about the absolute lifeblood of construction administration here. Formal notices, commercial claims, non-conformance reports, and official meeting minutes. The data here is staggering. Tasks that traditionally take a seasoned professional 2 hours of cross-referencing, structuring, and formatting are now being executed consistently in about 15 minutes.
The time compression happens because the AI completely absorbs the structural and linguistic burden of the task.
And the specific workflows highlight exactly how this works in practice. Let's say a project suffers a delay. The team inputs the raw data from a notice of delay, and the AI synthesizes that data against the contract constraints it already understands to generate a formal extension of time claim, an EOT, in just 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Or on the quality side, a site supervisor dictates raw, messy observations about a structural defect into their phone. The AI parses that audio, identifies the specific defects, and structures a formal non-conformance report, an NCR, in 2 minutes.
It is also transforming the administrative overhead of project management, taking a massive, sprawling transcript from a recording tool like Firefly's, understanding the context of the technical debate, and synthesizing it into polished, actionable meeting minutes in 3 minutes.
3 minutes for meeting minutes is wild.
Or taking the data from those daily site reports we discussed and auto-populating a complete structured variation register. Another huge one is generating progress report narratives directly from project data in just 10 minutes.
10 minutes for a progress report. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because the moment you tell a room full of project managers that a machine is going to write their extension of time claims and their nonconformance reports, you get a lot of raised eyebrows.
Oh, absolutely.
If I'm relying on an algorithm to instantly draft all my critical legal notices and financial claims, doesn't that inherently make construction professionals lazy? Aren't we essentially outsourcing our commercial brains to a predictive text generator?
It is the most common philosophical objection to the technology, but it fundamentally misunderstands what a construction professional is actually being paid to do. The overarching philosophy of deploying AI for drafting is this: you verify, you do not write.
Verify, not write.
Right. A senior project manager's true value to a company is not their typing speed. It is not their ability to perfectly format a Word document or remember the exact phrasing of a legal preamble. Their value is their commercial judgment.
So the mechanics of the job completely invert. The machine builds the framework, and the human applies the strategy.
Precisely. When an AI structures an extension of time claim in 5 minutes, the human professional does not take a nap for the remaining hour and 55 minutes they just saved.
Right, they aren't just clocking out early.
No, they reinvest that time. They review the AI's logic, they apply their deep commercial expertise to strengthen the argument, they negotiate, and they verify the accuracy of the claims against the physical realities of the site. The professional's role shifts from manual text generation to high-level strategic verification. It elevates them from a typist to an editor-in-chief, which is a vastly higher value application of their expertise.
That makes the ROI undeniable. So we've solved the two massive bookends of the project lifecycle. We use AI to read the massive foundational contracts, and we use it to write the polished, high-stakes claims. But any project manager knows that the beginning and the end aren't the problem. The problem is the chaotic, messy data that flows continuously between those 2 points every single day on a live job site.
And that continuous flow of chaos is where our third high-value category comes in, which is data transformation. It doesn't sound as glamorous as an AI writing a legal claim, but it is the unsung workhorse of the industry. This is arguably the technology's absolute sweet spot. Data transformation is the process of converting data formats reliably at a massive scale.
I always picture data transformation like a universal adapter plug.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you've ever traveled internationally and realized you have the wrong plug for the wall, you know that feeling of complete gridlock. You have the power, but you can't connect it. A major construction project is essentially a giant wall of mismatched sockets. The general contractor is running one financial software, the architect is using a completely different design platform, the subcontractors are sending data via unstructured emails, and the site supervisors are leaving frantic voicemails.
It's a mess.
None of these systems naturally speak to each other. The data gets trapped. AI acts as that universal adapter plug. It sits in the middle, ingests whatever messy format it receives, and seamlessly translates it into the exact structured output the next system requires.
That is the exact mechanism. AI excels at scraping structure out of unstructured chaos and reformatting it. Look at how this works on a granular level. We mentioned earlier taking a verbal site observation, someone literally walking the site, talking rapidly into their phone about a cracked concrete slab and missing rebar, and the AI perfectly converting that stream of consciousness into a highly structured, categorized NCR format ready for sign-off.
Or extracting highly precise material quantities directly out of dense, paragraph-heavy specification text so the estimating team doesn't have to manually count them.
Yes, the financial applications are equally powerful. Think about the daily influx of unstructured invoice data. You have invoices arriving as messy email attachments, photographed receipts, different vendor templates. AI is used to extract that scattered financial data and map it directly into highly specific cost code classification so it can be ingested into the project's main financial register automatically.
The framework also highlights how it bridges entirely different software ecosystems. For example, taking massive complex exports from P6, which is the industry standard scheduling software that can be incredibly difficult for clients to read.
Oh, it's notoriously dense.
Yeah, and using AI to transform that raw scheduling data into clean, highly readable Excel dashboards for client presentations. Or simply scanning a massive thread of messy general correspondence and automatically pulling out a structured contact list of every stakeholder mentioned.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the sheer scale of the ROI becomes obvious. The administration of heavy industry is choked by repetitive, format-dependent data entry. Humans despise this kind of work. When we hate a task, we lose focus, and when we lose focus, we introduce critical errors.
Naturally.
But AI does not care about formats. Because data transformation relies purely on pattern recognition and format shifting, it is a process uniquely suited for AI to scale indefinitely. It permanently removes the administrative bottleneck.
It becomes the connective tissue that keeps the whole project moving. So we now have the holy trinity of genuine AI adoption, document analysis to read the risk, drafting at speed to respond to the risk, and data transformation to keep the daily information flowing. This sounds like a perfect system, which begs the question, if these high-value workflows exist, why are people still experiencing the experiment fatigue we talked about at the beginning?
Because the software market is flooded with compelling, futuristic-sounding applications that are entirely disconnected from the actual mechanics of delivering a project.
Ah, the shiny objects.
Exactly. The research serves as a very stark warning about these lower-value categories. These are the tools that look incredible in a tightly controlled tech demo, but consistently fail to deliver any real-world, tangible return on a chaotic job site.
We absolutely have to name and shame these distractions so you know what to avoid. First on the list, AI-generated images. Everyone has seen the platforms where you type a prompt and get a gorgeous, futuristic concept image. It's fun to play with. But the reality of construction is that clients rarely want hallucinatory cartoon renders.
No, they don't.
They require precise, dimensionally accurate architectural visualizations that obey the actual laws of physics and strictly adhere to specific site constraints. Generative image AI simply cannot reliably respect those hard constraints yet. It's a toy, not a tool. Second major distraction, AI meeting attendees.
This is a perfect example of the illusion of productivity. Having digital bots automatically join every single Zoom call to transcribe the conversation sounds efficient. But in practice, it merely adds unnecessary complexity, clutters the meeting environment, and produces massive volumes of raw transcripts that people rarely, if ever, go back and read.
Right, who has time to read a 20-page transcript?
Nobody. Unless you are actively applying the data transformation step we just discussed, using a secondary AI to synthesize that raw transcript into specific, actionable minutes and assign tasks, the bots are just creating digital clutter.
Then there is the trap of fully automated report generation. The framework explicitly warns against deploying this without mandatory human friction, allowing an AI to automatically compile project data and send a finalized progress report directly to a client or stakeholder without a human verifying the commercial nuances is a massive, unacceptable risk. You are handing your commercial reputation to a statistical model.
It's just dangerous.
But out of all the warnings, there is one on the distraction list that completely caught me off guard. General project Q&A chatbots. I mean, wait, chatbots are everywhere right now. Everyone is using them. Why on earth would a chatbot be considered a low-value trap in construction?
It entirely comes down to the mechanism of how AI retrieves information and the severe accuracy risk inherent in construction. Generic chatbots are incredible at synthesizing general, internet-wide knowledge. But a major construction project is not governed by general knowledge.
It's highly custom.
Exactly. It is governed by highly specific, legally binding custom documentation. If you ask a generic AI chatbot, what is the penalty for a weather delay on this project? And it doesn't know the exact answer. It will hallucinate. It'll confidently generate an answer based on general industry standards rather than the highly specific negotiated wording of your unique contract. In a commercial setting, a confident but slightly wrong answer can be catastrophic.
So it sounds incredibly authoritative while feeding you information that could lose you a claim. How do companies actually solve that?
The only way to make a project Q&A chatbot genuinely reliable is to restrict its knowledge base entirely. This requires a complex architectural setup known as RJ, or Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Okay, RAG.
Simply put, RAG forces the AI to take a closed book test. It strips away the AI's access to general internet knowledge and forces it to search only within your specific uploaded project documents before it generates an answer. Building and maintaining a clean, structured RAG system requires massive upfront data engineering and constant maintenance. For most teams, the heavy upfront investment required to prevent hallucinations completely wipes out any casual time savings the chatbot might offer.
Which brings us to the ultimate filter. If a team is pitched a new tool, how do they immediately know if it's a scalpel or a distraction?
The research provides a single, ruthless litmus test for any new AI application. You must ask yourself, does this specific application eliminate significant professional time on a recurring basis?
That's the test.
If the answer is yes, you invest your time and budget into it. If the answer is no, if it's just a novelty, or if it requires more human effort to prompt, correct, and babysit the output than it actually saves you in typing, you abandon it immediately.
So what does this all mean? It means you now have the blueprint to step off the experimentation hamster wheel. You no longer have to feel guilty about ignoring the daily flood of new AI apps because you know exactly what actually works.
If we synthesize this entire framework, you are left with 3 golden rules to govern your strategy. Rule number 1, focus depth beats breadth. Find the massive complex bottlenecks and go deep.
Rule number 2, drafting at speed means you verify you do not write. Let the machine handle the formatting and the syntax so you can elevate your role and focus entirely on commercial judgment.
And rule number 3, always apply the litmus test. Does the tool genuinely eliminate recurring professional time? If it doesn't pass the test, it doesn't get deployed.
It is a profoundly clarifying way to view this technological shift. But before we wrap up, there is a lingering implication here that I really want you to think about. It builds on everything we've just explored. We have established that the human's role is shifting. The AI does the grueling grunt work, it reads the 500-page contract, it formats the complex EOT claim, it transforms the messy data, and the senior professional steps in to apply their commercial judgment to verify it.
A highly efficient system.
Incredibly profitable system for the senior professional. But we have to ask ourselves, how did that senior professional acquire their commercial judgment in the first place? Historically, junior staff learned the industry by drowning in it. They learned what a dangerous clause looks like, or how to properly structure a delay argument, precisely because they were forced to do that tedious grunt work.
That's a really good point.
They spent hundreds of hours painfully reading specifications and manually typing out those notices. The friction of the work was their education.
It creates a fascinating operational paradox. By removing the inefficiency, we might be removing the training ground.
Exactly. If artificial intelligence is now permanently absorbing the repetitive reading, the baseline drafting, and the data transformation, how does the next generation actually learn the ropes? If the machine lifts all the heavyweights, how do the junior members of your team build the cognitive muscle memory required to eventually become the senior verifiers?
It's a tough question to answer.
It is a massive, looming question about the future of mentorship in a fully automated world. So the next time you walk the site or sit down to let an AI review your contract, take a look at the junior team members around you and ask yourself, what does their path to expertise look like when the machine is doing the 80-20? Until next time, keep digging deep.